Hey guys, are you having difficulty understanding perfect competition as a market structure, or are you finding it difficult to draw the diagrams and evaluate perfect competition? If so, these are some of the issues that we're going to be talking about today, so stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my video on evaluating perfect competition. In the previous video, we looked at the short run implication of perfect competition, and in this video, we're going to just sum up now the long run effect of perfect competition and the changes that occur in the diagram. Then advantages and disadvantages of this model. You evaluate, your evaluations have strength, they're backed up with evidence from the context, points of both for and against the arguments that you're making. It's really important that you do that. This diagram here is one diagram for perfect competition, and you can see here we have profit maximization. One of the assumptions was that there's a freedom of exit and entry into the market. Okay. Now looking at this diagram very quickly, the incentive, in fact, the word we're looking for is the price signal. Okay, this is a signal, isn't it, to other firms to enter or join the market, and they will do that because there is there's no barriers to entry. And we understand that firms, there's many buyers and there's many sellers. So if you think about it carefully, if you're looking at the market structure diagram, you know that the supply curve will shift if certain conditions are met. If we say, for example, the number of sellers increase, we know that that's one of the main conditions that shifts the supply curve. In this case, because the number of sellers will increase, because the profit maximization acts as a price signal and it encourages other sellers to come into the market, we know the supply curve will shift to the right. I'm going to shift it a little bit to the right here, and we'll do the S2. And immediately what you'll establish is that there's a new equilibrium. So let's take this equilibrium there. You've got a new quantity, which is not so important for now, but the new price is. There's a lower price at P2. Again, firms are price takers, they have to take the new price. The new price has been adjusted in the equilibrium by the market, and the firm will take that. So we bring that across. What we know is because we're price takers and the demand curves are perfectly elastic, you'll end up with a whole new demand curve. And we'll label that as D2 equals MR2, which equals AR2. And you've got the new price of P2. The point of profit maximization is where MC equals MR. In this case, it's just there. So there's MC, the blue diagram, there's MR, and that is the point now of profit maximization. The quantity has gone down slightly to Q2, then you bring it down to the cost curve, which is just there, take that across, and we can put in C2. And just to make it very clear, the new area of profit maximization is this area here, this smaller rectangle. So immediately you can see that some of the short run profits have been eaten into, and that's due to a number of firms entering the market and eating away at that supernormal profit. It's because the initial supernormal profits acts as a price signal. It encourages firms to enter, which they do because there's a free entry and exit into the market, and so there's nothing stopping them going in and taking some of that profit. That will continue. More firms will see that, and they will understand that, oh, there's still some profit to be made, so they'll keep entering the market. So the supply curve will keep shifting. The profits will get lower and lower and lower. Eventually there'll be no supernormal profits left, and that's where the long run equilibrium for profit maximization occurs. If you're doing your evaluation in your exam, it's better to redraw the long run diagram and show it at the point of productive and allocative efficiency. And this is where labeling is key now. So when you're labeling it compared to your short run diagram, make sure you're using the correct P2s and D2s. This time we initially started with S, so I'm going to go in with S1, okay, and then we start with D, so I'm going to go in with D1, and that gives us the price of P2, which we take across. The individual diagram we draw a perfectly elastic demand curve. We want to label it as D2, which is equal to MR2, which is equal to AR2, which is equal to the price 2. And again, that's the reason that is price takers and having homogeneous goods. Because the supply curve kept on shifting and the profits kept on diminishing, eventually that will need to stop. And it stops at the point where normal profit is being made, where the total revenue is equal to the total cost. So your costs are just covering your revenue, You're covering the opportunity cost of operating in the market. What you need to do now is make sure that where you have this new price, you also have productive and allocative efficiency. Draw the average cost curve, and we can just draw that just like that. And then we draw the marginal cost curve. The marginal cost curve has to be drawn where it cuts the average cost curve at the lowest possible points. And there you go, marginal cost. The important point now is just to analyze the normal profits. So the point of production that we're looking for is where MC equals MR. That point, here's MC, okay, there's MR, and so it's that point there. Now, same thing as before, let's bring that down to the cost curve. But what do you notice? We can't bring it down because the cost curve is actually here. So that initial point of production is on the cost curve. So the price is the cost as well. And that's where normal profits are being made, because the price is equal to the cost. So in the long run, supernormal profits acts as a price signal. More firms will enter the market, supply curve shift to the right. As the supply curve shift to the right, you get a new equilibrium price and quantity. That new lower price then essentially reduces the supernormal profits as more firms enter and take those profits, and you're left with only normal profits. This is good for the consumer because prices are being driven down. So it doesn't make sense for sellers to increase their price, neither does it make sense for them to lower the price when they can just take the market price. Finally, just to evaluate overall perfect competition, let's quickly run through the advantages. Perfect knowledge and ease of entry maximizes consumer surplus and economic welfare. So consumers are getting a good deal out of this because they're getting the lowest possible price, okay? But also they're not being exploited like they would be in a monopoly. Because firms are price takers, they're taking the price that individual consumers want to pay for it. Therefore, consumer surplus is being maximized. The second advantage is that in the long run, productive and allocative efficiency are being produced. Let's quickly run through those again. So allocative efficiency is where price equals marginal cost. Does price equal marginal cost? But there's your marginal cost curve. It's where MC equals MR is also where price equals marginal cost. You can see that. So yes, price does equal marginal cost, and no harm in labeling that. Price equals marginal cost, which makes it allocatively efficient. Absolutely it does. Is it productively efficient? Now in the short run it wasn't. So let's have a look. The average cost curve, the lowest part of the average cost curve, just there, okay, the lowest part is the point of productive efficiency. Now, P2, okay, let's just take that down to Q2 just to make it clear. That's the level of output. Is that on the lowest part on the average cost curve? If you look at it, yes it is. It's on the lowest part of the average cost curve. So therefore, it's also productively efficient, and that's excellent. That's good news for us. Finally, is it dynamically efficient? Well, in this case, it's quite clear now. Before, in the short run, the answer was yes, it can be, because it may choose to reinvest. In this case, there's no supernormal profits being made. Therefore, it's not dynamically efficient. It can't use any of those supernormal profits to reinvest them in innovation or research and development. Remember, the idea of dynamic efficiency is that you're, as a firm, looking to reduce your long-run average cost, unit cost of production, bring that down, okay? But in this case, that's not happening. They have no dynamic efficiency. So what are the disadvantages of perfect competition? Well, really, the model itself is unrealistic, okay? In the real world, this model cannot be applied to most firms or most products. The key bit to understand here is that how homogeneous are goods and services in reality. The idea that all goods and services that are produced are homogeneous in this market is unrealistic. If you think about it carefully, all firms, small firms, large firms, in particular small firms, if they're selling a type of good which is similar, they will look to differentiate in some way. So it could be through brand packaging, it could be through colour, where it's marketed. There's some way they will try to differentiate so that they can stand out and accumulate more profit by buyers coming to them rather than their competitors. However, just to balance that out a little bit, it is a good model for understanding the competition that can exist between firms and the kind of competition that we want so that consumers benefit more. So it's a good comparison model to something like a monopoly. I hope this helps. If you find the videos helpful, please do pass them on to other students, and please do subscribe, and I'll see you soon.